So let's now look at our baseball example in Tableau, and you'll actually see that I think that the two graphs that we're looking at are going to be a lot simpler using Tableau than they would be using Excel. So first thing we need to go is go into Data Source. I'm going to connect to a Microsoft Excel file. Let's pull up our baseball salaries and hit OK. And there we go. So just like before, here's all the different sheets. Drag table, so we're going to drag data up into here. And it's going to populate in. Look, there's all our data. And it's great because you look up here and you can see our blue, that's all our categorical data, because it just automatically knows these are just words and whatnot. And they put the hash symbol on our salary data because that is our numerical data. So let's go to worksheet 1. How easy is it to make a histogram? I'm going to click on salary, and I'm not even going to do anything except to go right here to the show me button. Because once again, Tableau is very good at going, hey, you want to do salary? Here's a couple different ways that I think you should want to look at it. And so we're going to go down right here to histogram, hit OK, and look at that. We have a histogram. Pretty easy. All taken care of right off the bat. So now let's play around with a couple of things here, but there, it's beautiful. We have a histogram. We can right click on the axis. We can edit the axis just like we did before. We're going to change this to salary. And so that'll change the name. We go to tick marks, and we can play around with what the interval is going to be. So instead of 5 million, let's use, 10 million, let's use 5 million. And there we go. Puts our tick marks every 5 million. So that's all done. We'll come over here. We'll edit this. And instead of count of salary, we'll just call this frequency again. And so there we go. We'll leave the tick marks as they are. And so that's great. So one of the things we might want to do is this just says 5M, 10M. Let's change this so it's more of a salary number. A dollar figure. Instead of clicking on the axis, I'm going to come over here to the actual salary. Oh, and doing that, let me just point something out. You'll notice that as we did this, you'll see this new property appeared with the little symbol for the histogram chart, bin. So that is our salary bins. That's the little bins they put it into. If we go into edit, you can see that we can change around things. We can name the field. We can change the size of the bin. We can have it suggest the bin size, which is what it's done. It's given us bins of basically 1.25 million. So let's make that. Let's see what it looks like if we go to 2 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so these now are bins of 2 million instead of, so bin is just, this is 0 to 2 million, 0 to 4 million, 4 to 6 million. Now, of course, since this goes up by 5, maybe 2 million wasn't the best. So let's go back and right click on that, go to edit. Instead of using 2 million, let's just change it to 1 million. Okay, and there we go. So that's right there, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 4 to 5. 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. There we go, right on there. Now, I do want to change this to be the format. Instead of changing it in the axis, so let's go up to salary, right-click on it. Now, I right-click on it. You've also got the drop-down. It gives you the same thing. And we can look at all the different things and all the different properties we can play around with. And I think I want to go to default properties and go to number format. And then we're going to go currency custom. And the reason we're going to do that is I want to get rid of the decimal places. I want to display it in millions, because that looks pretty good like that. I want the $sign there. I want to include the thousand separator because I like commas, and hit OK. And there we changed it. Now it's in $sign and how many millions. Now, why did I do it over here instead of doing it down here? I did it this way because any other thing that I do with this graph, when I pull salary in, it's going to be in that format because I formatted it here in the base data instead of just here in the graph. Let's see, the last thing I want to do is we've got this name. We'll double click. We'll change this. We'll give it a nice title. so that people can see, in this case, a comment. What's our big takeaway? It can, I want to get rid of the sheet name. The majority of MLB players make at or near the league minimum. Okay, and so now we can look at this graph. It kind of tells us right off the bat what we're looking at. We can see that, and that is so much easier than making the histogram in Excel. Okay, and let's, for completeness sake, just histogram. Always want to make sure that we label these. We don't want to leave them sheet 1, sheet 2, and all that. Let's make the box plot. Box plot's easier than Excel. Not quite as easy as doing the histogram that we just did. So what we're going to do is I want to grab the salary and I am going to put it into the column. Actually, no, let's put it in the row. There we go. So now I've got the straight up and down. Why am I doing this? Well, let's go back to salary. If you see I hit show me, hey, look, there's a box and whisker plot, but it doesn't allow me to do it. We got to massage the data a little bit to get it closer there. So we're going to go salary, put it in column. Once again, put it in row. Try again, row. Okay, so that's kind of sort of getting towards box plot. Notice this says sum. Tableau is always going to give you aggregate data. It's always going to put it together. How do we not have it do that? Well, let's go to analysis. We got aggregate measures. We unclick that. Now, this is no longer giving us the sum of the salary. It's giving us a circle for each individual salary and all the way down. Okay. Now, this should look a little bit more like the box plot, but we've gotten things close enough to where we can go to show me, and now I can put in a box plot. And done. And so there we go, and that's all it took. There's our box and whisker plot. Here's our box at the bottom, showing there's our median, there's our upper and lower, first quartile, third quartile. There's our whisker, 1.5 interquartile range outside. Now, this is different than the Excel because you can see every single data point is on there, and Excel only showed us the ones outside of that whisker. Nice, but that is the nice thing about Tableau, because now we can go and you can query any point. In fact, if you come down here, you'll notice that it queries, those are all of the points of importance in our box plot. The upper whisker, obviously, is this up here. It's the part of the little bar with the whisker part. The hinges are what they call the edges of the box. So the upper hinge would be the third quartile. The lower hinge would be the first quartile. Gives you the median. Gives you the lower whisker, so all that data is there. This is just, Tableau is great for making very good looking plots. So let's just rename this one to box and whisker. Now the thing is we were able to clean up a lot of stuff in Excel. It still doesn't look as good as it does in Tableau. And so Tableau is a quick way to make good looking informative graphs. And that's it. So we got our histogram, our box and whisker, all from Tableau.